One thing that a lot of people do when they use Squarespace is they'll build these beautiful desktop websites and then they'll forget to mobile optimize. So what happens is you've got, like I say, this beautiful desktop site. Everything is lovely, neatly aligned. It looks great. And then they forget to check the little blue notification symbol that tells them, hey, like you need to check mobile. They forget to do it, and then when users start using the site on mobile, like all hell breaks loose. Like it doesn't work, everything's overlapping, people can't click things, and they lose potential customers, and it just leaves a sour taste in a visitor's mouth. So what I'm going to do is quickly show an example of how this can happen, and then how you can actually fix it moving forward. So on our site here, you'll see we have website. We click into that and we go into pages. We've got this really nice homepage here, but what happens when we start to move things about? So just as an example, you can see this is already, it's nicely done. It's a template. Now on desktop, what happens if I start to move things about? So let's say I want to add in a new text block, and my text block goes down here, and then let's move this over to the right, and then we'll duplicate this block and we'll start to fit this in. And you can see, you know, alignment wise, this works. Like I can manipulate things to look how I want them to look. And then what I'll do is I'll add another one. Let's just duplicate these two, and we'll sit these down beneath here, and then we'll do just one more image to finish things off, which will go here. Now, what I was speaking about before with this mobile icon, so people they will see this, or they'll see it, but they won't know what it is. And what we need to do is we need to click in to make sure that nothing is overlapping. This, luckily, Squarespace is getting better at this. Nothing, I think, is overlapping, but you can see the spacing is completely off. The hierarchy, like if I just press G, you'll see that all these grid spaces aren't correct. You've got a space above here, but no space here. And then obviously this is like, has a space either side, whereas this doesn't, and it all looks pretty messy. So what we need to do is we need to decide, okay, we've got this, and where do I want this text to fall? Where do I want this text to fall? If I, let's say, let's remove some text. So let's remove this text from here. Okay, that moves everything up a little bit. I need to then adjust it on desktop, adjust this and adjust this. Now you notice we had this smaller text block here. What happens if we then go back into mobile? Well, then it's moved everything up, and it's way too tight. As I say, Squarespace has improved quite a lot here, but you'll also notice it's got the actual structure wrong, or the hierarchy. So this smaller text block is actually second. So it should really be title, image, text, image, roughly, and then smaller text, image, larger text, and 2 images, something like that. So what I have to do is I have to manually go into the mobile, and I have to go, okay, let me find the larger text. I'm going to have to move this up. So I'm going to move this with my arrow keys to sit probably beneath here. And then I'm going to click on the image, and I'm going to move this up. And what I want to be cognizant of is the spacing. So a grid space here, a grid space here. And then I'll move this down and this down. So we give the text a little bit of room to breathe. And we're going to move this here. Then we can have the second text. Then we can bring the image up. And maybe we'll sit a couple of images next to each other. So we'll move this here. We want to make sure that is perfectly centralized. So if we click the G, it will show us the grid. We've got 1 and 1. And this is then vertically centered within its own block. So let me bring up this image now. I'm going to sit this here. I mean, I could get creative. I could make them offset like so. Something like that. And then we want to bring this text up. Keep that one grid space. But you can see how much jiggery pokery you need on mobile to make it work, how you want. Like if you have this isn't really an artsy site, but if you have a site with a very specific layout, I mean, this is quite a non-linear layout with things, all dotted around the page. If you have a layout like this and you want to try and replicate that on mobile, you just cannot go. You cannot go into your site and assume Squarespace is going to auto-optimize this. This will probably, no matter what platform you use, require some level of manual input. So once I'm happy with that, I'll drag this up, and again, we want to keep that one grid space there. I would probably start adjusting the section beneath as well, but that's another section. I'm not going to optimize that in this video. So if I save this and click exit, I can now go into the preview mode. I can see, okay, we've got spacing, all of this now matches. All of the spacing on the sides matches. We go down, everything starts to make sense. And you can see the mobile version is just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than the desktop version. So desktop, you can check that out here. And now things actually make sense. The hierarchy makes sense. Everything is in a format that showcases the content as it should be showcased. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe. And if you want me to build your Squarespace website, you can get in touch using the links in the description.